The Equality Act is a bill in the United States Congress that, if passed, would amend the Civil Rights Act to prohibit discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. This topic is pretty intense, so if your kids are around, you might want to ask them to go to another room. Mm-hmm. As I read the description of what the Equality Act was, I have to admit I didn't really get it. I was like, so what's the, they cover it. It sounds pretty, the Equality Act. I was like, so what's the big deal? Mm-hmm. God created everyone equal, right? But the big deal is this. It means that our children could one day be competing against transgender children in sports or possible dual gender bathroom incidents in public places and even schools. If we are truly one nation under God, the reality is the Equality Act goes against God's design for sexuality. So let's discuss that.
Yeah. Wow. I think the biggest thing that comes to my mind is my child's safety. Yeah. And I'm not here to say that every transgender person is a threat to my child, but you could easily disguise yourself under the terms of being transgender. And I have a daughter, I have 2 sons, they're young. I would not be okay with either sex, either a woman in a man's bathroom or a man in a woman's bathroom. That scares me. And again, not because I think every person in the world is a threat to my children, but I take their safety seriously as a mother and that.
Well, I think even scarier is that creeping into the schools. Yeah. Because there, if our kids are all homeschooled, but mine were in public school, and I have to be honest, that was one of the reasons that I pulled them. My school district has not shown any interest in heading in that direction yet, but given that the rest of our country
may be forced to.
Right. So that would be my biggest concern as a parent with kids, school age kids, is then that's out of your control. Right. If you're in a public place, you're with them, so you may be able to figure something else out. But if you're sending them into a school where that's really their only option, that's scary too.
And I think it also strips privacy and makes it less sacred.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Really, what it comes down to, what I see and what's happening is that everything that God created and intended, Satan can only twist it, pervert it, change it, do the opposite.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just taking privacy away. I agree, Jean, with what you said. I'm very protective of my children. I want to make sure they're safe, and I don't need any confusion for them and uncomfortable situations. You don't even want to have to put yourself. And I'm the mom when we're out. You're either coming into the women's restroom with me, or I'm standing right there and talking to you. You okay? Yeah. What are you doing? Because I will march right on in that bathroom if I have to.
That's right.
So I really think that it's just taking things that were sacred and personal and just exposing it and just making them here, whatever. It's whatever. You can do and be whatever you want to be here. Yeah. I think it's dangerous. It is dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Satan to take, when you're a child of God, that's your identity, right? And it would be just like him to take a child's identity or to be confused about their identity. Right. And that is so dangerous. Not just for an adult when you're 18 to make that decision, but for a child. They're like sponges.
Right.
They're going to believe what you tell them. And so to put a child into school and with a whole bunch of other kids, it's really dangerous.
And then I think, not to mention, if your child is in competitive sports, I think that was a big thing. I believe, and don't take my word for it, but they were talking Olympics one day. What would that even look like, and how? Because you cannot deny the anatomy of a male and a female.
Exactly.
God made us different. Men
are stronger and faster. That's just the way that it is.
Men are stronger, and I just think that is it's so unfair, but it's so like Satan to distort.
Yeah.
And to take God's creation, he created them male and female, and he wants to create his own.
Yeah.
Because he's just a poser. Can I say that? He's a poser. He takes, and I'm gonna do this. Transgender, you're this, you're that, you can be. No, this is how the Lord made you. He makes no mistakes. This is how our Father created us. This is how it is, but he's got to come in there, and everything God does, he's got to come in and he's got to just pervert, really, to be quite frank. And I think that it's sad But I also believe that it's igniting fires, especially in moms around the country, to kind of stand up, band together, and be like, something's got to give here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I think it's a good eye opener. I think when it's especially talked about in a Christian circle, it's a great way to open people's eyes.